got Kris Walser up next. Kris is in the house. James Draves check for a big Thursday. Got the kids coming in and glad to have them on board. And Coach Roscoe came through. We went 16-16 this year. Had every team in the county represented at Shane's this season. That's a great thing for us. Got the job done.
Andy, how are you, sir?
Hanging in. I got good news, and the kids came in. It was good news. Here's good news for.
All right, we're here for another week. You know, hey, whenever you can go on another week, we advanced in the playoffs. We did both. Me and you both.
It's almost like our good minister friends over the years. We've been with a lot of different evangelists over the years. They get the money comes in. They can keep the program on the air for another week.
Right. You know, hey, if you can just keep it going. We had a good week last week.
Sure, it started slow but picked up.
Yeah. The Randleman game. The Andrews Randleman game was a little better than we had anticipated. Going in, Randleman, talking to some of the folks from Asheboro in that Asheboro area who know a lot about the Randleman squad, they told me that they probably should have been around a 7 seed, and they ended up losing 3 coin flips in a row for the seeding. That bumped them all the way down to a 16. And so they came in as a 16 seed. They just played Andrews on October 17th, which was a 34-14 ball, 34-7. 34-7 was that game. And they came in, they were not afraid of them. They were not afraid of Andrews. They came out, they played hard. It was 14-14 at the half. Andrews did not respect the pass on them. They had 8 men in the box playing man coverage on the outside, and in the first half, they burned them deep twice on it. They were bombs, and so coming out, I guess Coach McCoy rallied the Red Raiders. They came out and they went to their horse, Travis Steele, second half.
He took over.
He did. Took over the ball game, and it was 34-21 final. A lot further apart than that. They scored made that 21 later in the game, so it was 34-14 for a while. And Red Raiders,
sometimes if you're patient and you hang in there, you wait for that to kind of wear off a little bit, finally wears off what Randleman brought in, and then kind of stay the course, and then turn it over, like you say, to Steele. Good things happen for Andrews.
And they rested him much of the first half. We saw him on one series in the first half where they went down and scored a touchdown. They looked like they were committed to throwing the ball a little bit more than we had expected out of Andrews. They're averaging 378 yards per game on the ground and only like 55 in the air. And I think they ended up with about 200 yards passing, and then they were about 275 rushing. They had a 65-yard pass. There was a deep one. Receiver went up and got it, and they got it on like the 9-yard line, and then it was Travis Steele show, line up. We're going behind that huge offensive line. Deontay Davis and company. They do not disappoint.
I was reading, I think maybe where Manley Willis might have had at least maybe one key connection with Amir Campbell's favorite target.
Yeah, 65 yards.
That's a good one.
It was.
You get 1 or 2 of those a game, that'll still keep the defense a little more honest anyway.
And, well, they were trying to play man coverage up to that point, and after that they went more of a cover 3. That scared them a little bit, and then that was actually the turning point. That set up to go 21-14, and then it was just straight down to Travis Steele.
I'm going to tell you, the Randleman team, I think coached by Shane Handy, who's an area
legendary guy. Yeah,
been around for a long time, and he has his guys ready. They came in prepared to play, and they did well.
And I was very disappointed on the shape of the football field. We had been in. It was in terrible condition. From the 30-yard line to the 30-yard line, in between the hashes, is nothing but a mud pit.
Wow.
And which, for the style of football that Andrews plays, it's a home field advantage.
Good stuff, yeah.
And, they're going to run the football. If I had any pointers or tips to give Jacksonville Northside, you want to get the ball on the hash, and you want to roll your quarterback onto the short side to that nice grass because the Bailey Welsh for Randleman, he kept trying to stand in that mud pit, slip sliding away, and he threw a couple interceptions and just over the head passes, just couldn't get his feet set.
And he's a quarterback, right?
Yeah, Bailey Welsh.
He's a good baseball player too, I think. Yeah, good program there.
And they played a good football game. Hats off to Randleman. They had a great season, and I look for them to be back next year. I expect that they'll have more than 5 wins next year.
That receiver, Mollett, I think he went to North Carolina a couple of years back. Very good wide receiver. Probably losing him didn't help them any, but that's one of their name players they've had. And what about this name this week coming in? You got the Northside team out of Jacksonville, 5-7, but they could easily be 9-3.
No, they are 9-3.
Think about a team like that. It comes in, and they got seeded because they were like 4-7 in the year because the eligible player in the loss had to forfeit games. But man, they could have been seeded way higher.
Yeah.
They're playing a much tougher team. Maybe you really should be playing.
They're listed at 5-7, but they are actually 9-3 because they had to forfeit 4 games for the ineligible player.
Did we know what he was ineligible for?
I didn't really dig that much.
It was just one guy. Is that probably right?
One guy, yeah.
Sometimes you're not exactly sure how much of an impact player that guy might have been. He may not have been. But what his team kept going after he was gone, they've kept going. This is a very good team. And 34-0 over Washington in game
Surprising,
1.
Shocking. I mean, Washington coming in, being the state runner-up last year.
And going out in round 1.
And getting torched 34-0.
Exactly.
Yes, I mean, nobody wants to go out and have, they were a home game.
Yeah.
They were the 8 seed.
Somebody comes and beats you 34-0 at a home game. First round, that's tough. And you're the defending state champions.
Yeah.
You ain't got much to hang your hat on or wave your flag about then.
And, Jacksonville Northside coach Bob Eason, he's a fairly new coach in the region. I don't know a whole lot about him, but I watched a lot of film on him. They are about 2/3 run, 1/3 pass. So they're about 100 yards a game passing, 200 yards a game rushing. Some of the things that jump out at you when you start looking at the stats for Northside. Jonte McMullen, number 8. I would expect to hear that name a lot. And Dwayne Washington, number 22. Both of them have rushed for over 1,000 yards this season.
Good combo in that backfield, yeah.
Yeah, so, I mean, it's more like a McMullen is 5'11", 184, and Washington is 5'9", 185. So it's kind of a thunder lightning sort of thing. They bring them in, and Jake Erickson's thrown for 1,183 yards on the year. So, like you were talking about last week, it used to be in North Carolina, if you threw for over 1,000 yards,
you had a good career.
Yeah, they were going to make you governor.
Yeah, exactly.
At least give you the key to the city. Down there in Jacksonville, they get those of you who don't know a lot about the eastern part of the state, that it's right there at Camp Lejeune. So there's other big schools that are right there. But it's going to be quite a drive for them.
Oh, yeah,
so it's probably going to be 3.5, 4 hours for them. So I'm sure they'll leave early. It'll be a long day for them. And then having to go up against that offensive line and that defensive line of Andrews.
Coach McCoy, you just probably say, Travis Steele, I need to talk to you a second. Here's the keys to the car. Crank it up and drive it. Just drive it.
And I cannot stress enough how good that defense is. We talked about it last week. They had only given up 80 points for the season so far last week. They gave up 21 to Randleman last week, and so they're at 101 for the season. Number 72 King, number 66 Bonner, and 42 Tyran Gray. On that defensive line, I mean, they played incredible. Bonner was playing like a man possessed. I think he had 3 sacks on the game, and he's the little guy on that offensive line. I think he's 6'3", 290.
He's a little guy.
Yeah, well, I mean, you got King, who is 6'4", 335, and some stuff. Our man, number 75, Deontay Davis, on the offensive line, did a little bit of searching on him. He's listed as 6'3", 340 now, running a 4.6 40. That's smoking for that big of a man.
Timer and said, what in the world?
Yeah.
4.640 and 340.
Really, I was talking to C.J. Freeman before we came on, and he was like, "That's only 2/10 slower than me."
He's a 4.4,
And I don't think that he could run. It would. I think if he runs over 40 yards, your next question is, what was chasing him?
Right.
Because I don't think he's going to run much more than 40 yards.
Must have some kind of special effect he uses to get these guys going. Because 340, we had 340 running 4.6 on the 40. That is, that's sign this guy. I want to be his agent.
Yeah.
Get a tenth of his cut.
Yeah,
So
and I've been looking to see, if he's being recruited, where he's going. He hasn't decided yet, and he's looking. When you had the interview with him, he said he would like to go to Clemson. I think that if you're a recruiter out there and you're listening, I have been singing the praises since week 4. I am sold on number 75 Deontay Davis, and his favorite dessert is banana pudding, and his favorite food is macaroni and cheese and ribs.
Love mac and cheese.
Oh, yeah.
I love the ribs too. That's a good combination.
I know. Well, that's why you said he's probably going to move in here and change.
Yeah, he could live right here.
He could move right in.
And you think about it, if I were the head coach at Winston-Salem State, I've got another game or two. If he was not playing on Friday, if he was playing Friday, had a day off Saturday, I'd bring him in this year.
Oh yeah.
Bring this guy in. That's
yeah. And any of the local teams, and he's a great kid.
Yeah, and it would be perfect to get a kid like that. They've already got the old quarterback, Lamar Renard, from there a couple of years ago.
Yeah.
He's got him, so get this Davis kid too. Very, very impressive.
So I really like him a lot.
What is Andrews? What's their must do? What do they must do to win tomorrow night's game? What do they got to do?
Well, they've got to use their ball control offense. They got to play their scheme. I thought that Randleman pushed them a little bit out of their comfort zone last week. I think that the question would be for Northside, what does Northside need to do to beat them? And I think you stack 8 men in the box. You prove that they can run against that and force them to throw.
This may be almost unheard of because people don't talk about it. Let's go ahead and put 9 men in the box.
Yeah.
Don't run that many guys. Put 9 up there until they finally start to throw. Take those other 2 guys, put them as corners, have a 9-man front, 2 guys in the corner for Northside, and I'll shake their hand. Good luck.
Yeah. Well, and roll the dice. I think Andrews is the better team, but last week with that slippery field, they showed there was some handling problems. They actually had three fumbles that they were able to jump on and recover themselves.
Yeah.
But the ball was on the ground. So in the right moment that happens, and it's Randleman that jumps on it. We could be talking about a completely different ball game.
Depending on the spot where it is on the field, around the end zone, could be a touchdown.
And it's going to be. We got the rain today. That field's going to be terrible.
I'm thinking the city of High Point probably works that field, and High Point Andrews probably doesn't have the staff to work on that field during the game or before the game. They probably count on the city staff to get that ready for the game. So if I'm Andrews, I may want to go over and lend a helping hand, maybe jump out to the ball before the game and get that field, like you say, in fairly decent shape and try to get some of that mud gone to get a little. Because the longer the game goes, it's not going to be. It's going to be mud.
I mean, if you think that, Andy, if they end up going to a regional final down there, the conditions are going to be so poor that you're not going to be. I mean, that's the great thing you talk about, like in the Super Bowl in the NFL. The reason why they like to have them in a dome, because you don't want the elements to enhance the game. You want it to be true talent versus talent.
Well, let's go back to the old Jack Murphy Stadium. Let's go back to the old Oakland Alameda Stadium. Let's bring back the sawdust and see those games. Throw some sawdust.
Well, you remember they used to say that John Madden would actually come in and water the field down there in Oakland.
Exactly.
And actually, I think that stadium is like 6 feet below sea level, so it naturally stays wet. And that's, they play the rec league games down there in High Point, so they've been chewing the field up. High Point Central shares it with them, and I know after the Hurricane Joaquin mess came through and we had that 12 days of rain, the field is not any better today than it was
back then
7 weeks ago.
It's going to be a busy night around Simeon Stadium tomorrow night because the High Point Christian Academy is playing Wake Christian for their state championship.
Mm-hmm.
You guys got your game at 7:30, so there'll be a lot of big football, a lot of good football being played there tomorrow night.
Yeah, there will be.
We'll
be. We're excited to do it. Glad to be back for another week. And I'm wearing red as promised.
Hey, good stuff.
It won't ever happen again.
You got to feel good about that. If you wear the red and you wear some red tomorrow and they win, I mean, you've come up with the proper.
Yeah, there it is.
The formula works.
Well, as long as I got mad last week after I got off the air and you talked all that college football with Dennis.
Yeah.
I am a Tar Heel. We talked about that. How about the way the Tar Heels have been slinging the ball around the yard?
That's coming up for you in just a minute. Let's get to high school things. So
Sure.
That too. High school wise, how many teams left after tomorrow night? We had 10 going in. We now got 7. 2 of those playing each other. How many teams left after tomorrow night's games?
Of the local teams?
Yeah, local teams.
I think we're going to have Northern win.
Okay, at Asheboro, okay.
Yeah, Dudley's going to win.
Okay.
I think Northwest will pull off the upset.
That's going to be an upset if you go Green.
Big time upset.
Okay.
And then we got Southern Guilford.
Southern Guilford Wilson Pike.
Yeah, and that I don't know a lot about that game. I think that I would have to. I'll go ahead and give it to Southern.
Okay, that's
so 4, and then we have Andrews. I'm going to say 5.
Saying 5 of 7.
Yeah.
5 of 7. Page will not advance, and your other game that not advance would be. You said Northwest is going to go.
Yeah.
Page won't go. Page won't advance.
Yeah, Page won't advance.
Gotcha.
And there's a lot of people who want. And I was, after my picks last week, got all my picks right. Everybody advanced. All my state championship winners advanced. But how about Scotland County gave us a scare?
That was a close game.
That was a lot closer than it should be. But I look, Northern Guilford next week with the possibility of playing Terry Sanford down in Fayetteville, that would be a test.
Another team that had a close game. I was thinking Jack Britt was tested last.
They
week.
were, yeah. Jack Britt. That was my 4 big A pick.
That's right.
And so Scotland County and Jack Britt both scared me a little. How about the big win for the Southwest Cowboys against Watauga?
43 degrees and a blowing howling wind up and around Boone.
Yeah, with triple overtime.
Absolutely, yeah.
Triple overtime. They have had
that's a tough win too, because they led almost the entire game. Watauga, the home team, the higher seed, came back on them. Use that happens at home. That team's got the momentum to win, going overtime, and Southwest pulls it out.
Yeah, had a fantastic game. Great ball club, great kids. I know several parents of players on that team, and they just a great family environment there. Happy for them, but I do not think that they're going to have enough to get past
It'll be tough. They need to get on the board. That's going to be the toughest part. Is get on the scoreboard.
Right, just get up and
biggest chance
fight.
for their defense. Their defense is going to be tested like never before.
Yeah.
It's an offense like Dudley.
Yeah, I mean, they're. I don't think that they're going to go away.
But Jared Rainey, that young quarterback, is one of the best around.
Yeah, he is.
Outstanding young quarterback.
And so, whenever, that's the reason why we line them up and play them on Friday night.
Something
we
crazy's
can.
going to happen tomorrow somewhere. It's going to happen somewhere.
Yeah,
and
we're going to
get at your game. Might be at somebody
and
else's.
you know what, with the way Jacksonville Northside, with everything that's gone on with their season, with the 4 games getting forfeited and all that, still getting in, spanking Washington 34-zip, it would not shock me. I'm expecting a really good football game tomorrow, but I do think that Andrews should be able to move on and probably play Clinton.
Here we go again. You're taking Dudley to move on. Mm-hmm. You got Northwest and an upset down a few wave arena.
Yep.
Northwest. You've also got Northern to win Asheville, right?
Yep.
Northern's going to win. Got Southern Guilford win, Andrews win. 5 teams advance. Gotcha.
So we had 10 originally. Is that
Start
how
with
many?
10. Yes.
So
7
get to the 3rd round with 5. That's
real
nice.
Good.
Yeah.
Real good. It gets interesting, but really good. Some of the teams that may be there may still be able to last a little longer. Some of the teams that are still there were supposed to be. They may drop out. You just, like you say, on a given night, you never know.
Certainly. How about the game over in Elon last week, Western Alamance and Moorhead, and I have that Moorhead team ever since when I called the Northeast Moorhead game. They Will Dabbs and company, and just so I can say it again, Jadakiss Jumper, number 1, Jadakiss Jumper.
I always got one time, and I saw him that Eastern Guilford Moorhead game, I think last year before. That is a name I would never forget.
Yeah, Jadakiss Jumper, and then Mike Jones. So you got this extreme name like Jadakiss Jumper, and then you got the plain Jane Mike Jones. That offense at Moorhead runs through number 2. But Will Dabbs, I mean, I don't know. I think that as far as all the players that I've seen this year, his ability to play both sides of the ball, quarterback and then Mike linebacker, playing the whole time. And there's 7 guys off of that Moorhead team that are also big-time state wrestlers.
Yeah, that was
and that's a different mentality. When you got.
Not bad for tackling. You got to love the tackling, because the wrestling guy can tackle the guy. You just got to be careful when you tackle a lot of guys at one time. And this is something I noticed last week. I don't know how in the world we don't don't have more face mask calls than we do, because you got 7, 8 guys on a ball carrier at the same time, all the way up that guy. Those hands right in that face mask. I'm surprised there's not more of those calls than we see.
Yeah, and but I know that Will Dabbs last week, he kind of stepped up and won the football game for him against Western Alamance, and I had said that I thought that the Western Alamance team was better than Eastern Alamance. But I said, do not be surprised if you see a dogfight out of Moorhead. So I actually think that I know if I'm Havelock and I'm sitting there looking at having to play Moorhead, I'm probably shaking in my shoes a little bit.
Eastern Guilford didn't walk out of there without giving Havelock a test.
They scared him. They scared him for sure. Well, being able to drop 28 on them, and it's like if you thought Eastern Guilford was something, wait till you play Moorhead.
Plus, Eastern Guilford got some guys healthy too. They had injuries this year. Got some key guys back. What about this game? Back to what you mentioned, alluded to earlier. North Carolina, Virginia Tech. Heels right at 9-1. Last game in Blacksburg for Frank Beamer. Huge setup winning that game.
Go Heels.
They just keep winning.
I tell you what, I was talking to some Clemson fans the other day, and they were like, you don't actually think Carolina could beat Clemson in the ACC championship game, do you? And my response was, if they keep slinging the ball around the yard the way they're doing it, they can beat anybody.
Yeah, ask Syracuse. They gave Clemson all they wanted.
Right. And that is not nearly the offense. And a lot of people don't realize that from last year's team, North Carolina was ranked in the top 10 in offense, but they were the worst defense.
Yeah, Gene Chizik goes turn that defense around.
All they needed to do is be able to hold teams under 21 or 22 a game, and that offense is going to roll.
Said, get the guys in the right positions. Some of those guys have been rearranged a little bit, get them in the right spots. And the kids, C.J. Freeman and Max Maynard, their old teammate Luke Reynolds is with Virginia Tech, so he'll be facing that vaunted Marquise Williams passing attack and all those great receivers on Saturday.
And how about Elijah Hood? The season he's had. I don't know. I know that during the Duke game, I've been a Carolina fan my whole life, born in Chapel Hill, so it's kind of been in the blood.
You're a long-time follower of Chapel Hill College.
Yeah, exactly.
So those talk shows I did years ago, I was always a kind of an NC State kind of guy, so definitely got a lot of people starting to have a lot of interactivity. I was like, Chapel Hill College, you call them Matt, act like you're go on what you're saying. It's just kind of some thoughts about Chapel Hill.
Well, so, I mean, it's like following Carolina football all these years. I'm also a Detroit Lions fan, so I like Payne.
Big win last
very big win. So I like Payne. I'm sadomasochistic. And there has been many seasons where we force ourselves to go down and watch one football game a year. I will tell you, again, in the Duke game, that was the greatest first half of Carolina football I had seen in history. And then they back it up in the Miami game this past week, which was probably the greatest 4 quarters of Carolina football I've seen. So if they can keep that going, they can be. I sure would like to have that Marquise Williams interception in the end zone back in South Carolina.
Oh yeah, people still talk about that.
But if we need some help, some folks above us lose. We're looking for Michigan State to knock off Ohio State this week, and that will help make some room above. And you keep winning, and then if Clemson's still ranked number 1 in the ACC, and they could bump right up.
How close will you be glued to the set on Thanksgiving Day when the Lions are playing on Thanksgiving Day?
I am always, and for many years as a child, the only Lions game I could see all year was on Thanksgiving, unless we happened to go up there to watch a game live because they didn't broadcast them. Well, I was one of the first folks in Greensboro to get the NFL Sunday ticket when it was first available in 1998, 97 was my first year of having it, and I have watched every snap of every Lions game since 1997, including the 0-16 season.
Will they have the same coach next year that they have this year?
I think we will. I think that the Ford family has realized that it was more upper management issues.
They went after that.
And they did, and I think that Caldwell, I do not think in any situation that you can give a head coach less than 3 years. If you give them less than 3 years, then that's a reflection on who hired you.
Yeah.
Because you cannot turn a program around. You can't, whether it's high school, college, or pros. If it's less than 3 years, then it's been a waste of time. And I think that you've got to give them a little more chance than that. So I think they will.
Did you watch the debate on CBS last Saturday? Did you watch the political debate?
I did not. I was watching the LSU game and the Arkansas game, and I was also the Oregon game where they've got the tight end, or the Oregon Baylor, is that what it was? The Baylor kid, the tight end that is 6'7", 410 at tight end. 4'10"? 6'7", 410 playing tight end.
I got to see that guy one time.
Yeah, I believe it's Baylor.
4'10".
6'7", 410. No, and I believe he is a junior. And watch out, Gronkowski, because how are you going to guard him with a linebacker?
Back on the political side again. Sure. Who gets your attention the quickest? Would it be Bernie Sanders? We have asked you this before, asking Barry Sanders or Colonel Sanders?
Oh, that'd be Barry Sanders. Barry Sanders, absolutely. Yes, absolutely.
How about among these three on the political side and some other sides too? Ben Carson, Johnny Carson, Kit Carson.
I've always been more of a Johnny Carson guy. You know, here's Johnny.
Gotta love that. Thanksgiving dinner. If you just anywhere in the world, where would you eat your Thanksgiving dinner? Anybody, anywhere in the world, where would you go?
I would eat it where I've been eating in the past 17 years, here in Cleveland, North Carolina, with my wife and my in-laws.
Got a good football team in Cleveland.
They do, and my wife is a West Rowan grad. She was a cheerleader. She was a 4-year cheerleader at West Rowan. So we made a few comments to trying to find the West Rowan score last week, and they were in a tough one, 28-27.
They won plenty of titles during their time.
Yep, and that actually was after my wife graduated because they stunk while she was there. So,
made up for it more.
But they were always basketball powerhouse while she was there.
So going down to Cleveland County and eat that.
It's actually Rowan County, Cleveland, North Carolina.
Eat that Thanksgiving dinner.
Yep.
Do you see yourself more like the Undertaker or the Overtaker?
Wow, that's a tough one. I think I can bring the hammer, Andy. I think I'm probably the Undertaker.
He is the Undertaker. We need to get the sound effect. We're halfway there. In order for High Point Andrews to win that game on Friday, what do they have to do tomorrow night?
What do they have to do?
Must-do list again.
So we're going to go, Travis Steele has to touch the ball more than 20 times. If he touches the ball more than 20 times, there is no team in the state that can beat him.
They're going all the way.
Yep.
Not going to get stopped. We talked about the guys that are going to still be there next week. Talk about the guys that are still there this week. Who are the guys that are not there? We went in with 10 teams. We lost 3 teams. Who are those teams?
Teams the 3 teams we lost?
Yes.
Are we counting? Put me on the spot.
I said everybody
there.
This week.
I can do it. I can do it. Southeast Guilford.
There you go. It's one of the tough ones.
Okay. And then we had.
It really gets people thinking.
Western Alamance isn't included in our area, is it? No, just Guilford County. So Southeast and High Point Central.
There you go. You're 2 out of 3.
I got it. Give me a second. Help me, Dennis.
He's doing it next. He's getting a chance to hear the advance.
Oh yeah, so he's already got 2 of the 3. Okay, I'm going to hold the third one to see if Dennis can give us the third one. So, because if I tell him, then he already knows, right?
He's already actually said it.
Yeah. Oh, he already said it.
He's just like the kid in class. We're doing our class session.
What was it again, Dennis? Oh, Eastern. Yeah.
I just thought to bring that because.
As being part of the Northeast Guilford broadcast team, we try to block out things like Eastern Guilford.
It shows you how quick we forget the teams that are gone. We talk about teams that are still here.
Yeah.
But the guys that are gone.
Right.
When you lose,
right.
It's like you're forgotten.
Well, and High Point Central.
Some people say gone and not forgotten. That may be a different story.
You got to follow Southeast a lot more than I did this year, but I got to see High Point Central a couple times, and I expect them to be right back in the mix next year and pull it back around. They're just going to lock and load.
Their running game will be just about what it was this year. Probably.
Yeah, Chavis Littleback is a senior.
Yeah, and there's some things about that team, too. I think McLean came back to a little bit more quarterback last week. They're going to miss Jeffrey Wall, the things he does, but I think things will be good for them next year, too. I think they'll be solid. I think they'll be tough. So we got our check. We're covered there.
Yep.
We got your meal ticket covered there.
Yep.
And we've got a win for High Point Andrews tomorrow night.
And win for Dudley, I think.
I think a win for Dudley, too.
Yep.
What about an Andrews score? Really go out on the line.
Ooh.
What do you think that score might be tomorrow night.
Well, it seems like Andrews has been averaging right at that 34, so I'm going to go ahead and go 35.
It's a neat number.
So I'm going to go 35, and I'll go 35-28 with Andrews scoring late in the fourth quarter to take the lead.
You're saying that final score again is
35-28.
going to be that close?
I think so.
Wow.
I think so.
Spread the word, and again, last week the team out of Northside put up 34 points. Tomorrow night they're going to get 35 scored on them. They're going to have 20. Hopkins going to win, but it's going to be tough.
I think it's going to be a tough game. I definitely tune in. We'll be excited to call it. Me and Coach Lippert again this week.
Back at it.
And he did an awesome job last week. First time in the booth.
Yeah.
Man, he really just his depth of knowledge in football is amazing, and he was being able to really see and telegraph some things going on. So we're excited to have him. So we're going to be talking about a lot of the games in the pregame and a lot of the stuff. He's got a lot of insight with a lot of coaches. He's known Coach Handy for years, so he knew a lot about Randleman too.
Yeah.
So doesn't know a lot about the Jacksonville Northside team. So we're
The
going to.
funny thing is, Jacksonville, Northside, and Washington, they've all been at Andrews. They've all been at the Eastern same mix for a few years now. It's like you're seeing the same. It's like you go to the postseason, you go back to like a family reunion, saw your old relatives.
Yeah.
You want to beat them up in the pickup game out in the front yard on Thanksgiving Day.
Right. So excited to do it.
Chris, always good.
Yep.
Thank you so
Yep.
much.
We will talk to you soon.
Coach Lippert and Chris tomorrow night on Greensboro Sports Radio 2. They've got the big game.